Nothing in this podcast is meant for medical advice. Please discuss your own healthcare with your healthcare providers. Thank you. Welcome to your B-side, your midlife metamorphosis. I'm your host, Dr. Amy Lindsey. Midlife is not a crisis, it's a catalyst to your best life. Join me each week for a dose of mental, physical, and spiritual health, life, grief, adventure, and opportunity. It's time to flip the record over. When I was 12 years old, I was getting myself a snack after school. And my dad came into the kitchen and he said, "Eat it today, wear it tomorrow." Now, I didn't know it at the time, but that was my first induction into diet culture at 12 years old. Following that incident, I did start to notice, oh, am I not supposed to be eating this? What about this? And then I would start taking cues from my older sisters who were often on a diet, especially my oldest one. I would start to watch her and watch what she ate, what she didn't. I would watch her push her food around at the dinner table. And I would start to question my own body. Now, this is not an uncommon story. This is a story of so many people. It affects cis women primarily, but we are not the only people or the only gender that are affected by this. I would say everyone, all genders are impacted by diet culture because you're either someone who is oppressed and subjected to it, that your value is in your shape, in your size, and what you look like, or you're someone who believes that. You believe someone's value is in the shape and the size and what they look like. Many people judge health by what people look like. And I'm here to tell you that it's about time to divorce diet culture. Diet culture and health are not the same. Now, 12 years old or right around pre-puberty or puberty is a common time for all genders to start to experience changes in their body, which then gets them to question what they're doing to their bodies for their health, what they're eating, what they're wearing, how they look, if they're sucking in their tummy or not, if people start to comment on bodies. My cis male son had an experience at 12 years old at a paddleboarding camp in his swimsuit, where one of the older camp counselors, a 16-year-old girl, was telling him he had a beer belly. So then he came home upset about his belly and really trying to figure out what was going on with his body. So this is pervasive in all genders, and it's pervasive in our culture, especially at a time when bodies are changing, such as puberty. And this is when it begins, if it hasn't begun already, even before puberty. Now, what does this have to do with midlife and our B-side? Well, in midlife, our bodies also start to change quite rapidly. With all the different hormone changes and different aging changes that we're experiencing, our bodies are changing. And before you know it, the diet culture has caught up to us. If you haven't seen an ad for menopause belly and some quick fix for it, then you must be either off social media or hiding under a rock because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And the shame spiral and the shame cycle for diet culture especially targets midlife cis women, but it also targets all genders at midlife, right when our bodies are changing, right when we're starting to feel maybe a little uncomfortable in our new bodies and we're starting to question. And then we think, hey, maybe this is the perfect time to finally get in shape, the best shape of my life. But here's the thing. We collapse health with diet culture. We collapse health with a number on a scale. And I am here to tell you that scale weight has nothing to do with health. I'm going to say that again. Scale weight has nothing to do with health. Let's take a look. Let's say you do decide to go on some sort of diet where you are counting calories, and you're counting the calories in and you're counting the calories you're using on exercise. And let's say that the scale does go down. Here's the thing. Your body is going to take that weight from where it decides it can sacrifice that weight. This includes muscle mass. This includes bone density and bone mass. This includes brain cells. That while you're on this diet and while you're getting dopamine hits from feeling like you're losing weight, your body decides where that weight comes from. And at midlife, preserving our bone, preserving our muscle, and preserving our brain tissue is at the top of the list for true health. So let me tell you what I mean by the difference between diet culture and health, because they're so collapsed, you might even not know what the hell I'm talking about. So I wrote a few things down here. So diets are focused on deprivation and subtraction. They're focused on removing food, removing weight, deprivation, and subtraction. They assign morality to food and behavior. For example, they'll tell you bad foods and good foods, bad behavior, good behavior. And all this does is keep you in a shame cycle, that you feel that you are either being good when you're doing, quote, good things with your diet, or that you're being bad when you're doing, quote, bad things with your diet. Hey, this is Dr. Amy Lindsey, your host of Welcome to Your B-Side, your Midlife Metamorphosis YouTube channel and podcast. If you want to be more involved with my B-Side community, you can join on School. That's SKOOL. You can join my school community. Look me up, Dr. Amy Lindsey, Welcome to Your B-Side, and request to join. It comes with a pendulum. So a pendulum of shame. So I'm doing great, I'm doing terrible. I'm doing great, I'm doing terrible. And it's a pendulum swing of shame. There is a lack of self-acceptance in diet culture. You will never be good enough in diet culture. It's stressful mentally and physically, and especially it has a toll on your mental health. Goals are focused on size, like a number, and scale weight, also a number. Health, on the other hand, health is focused on health goals that are important to you. So there's values assigned, not arbitrary good and bad assigned. Values for you and your life and you and your body. There's a focus on adding in nourishment, on adding in honor and acceptance for your body. There's a focus on fuel foods, fun foods, all of it, that you have the right to fuel your body for strength and to be able to do what you need to be able to do. But you also have the right to have fun foods, nostalgic foods, celebrate. There is a balanced relationship with eating in your body. You feel balanced. It doesn't feel deprived and then possibly going into binging and shame. There is a degree of self-acceptance and self-love. And for people who have a difficult time with self-love, that's something that is in our culture. We have a difficult time with self-love, which it should be the most natural, innate thing, but that's just not how we are in this world. So I encourage people to start with self-acceptance. If you are struggling with self-love, start with self-acceptance. It improves your mental health. When you learn what to do for your life and what health means to you, and you take actions aligned with that, that improves your mental health. Goals are focused on life values. So they're not focused on what your neighbor is doing for their diet regime, or your friend, or your sibling, or your parent. that it's about you, that your health is about you and your life goals and what's important to you. Let's talk about where diet culture came from. Where the hell did diet culture come from? Well, you may not be surprised. It's a colonialist institution, okay? So we can talk about all the things that came with colonialism, but one thing that came with colonialism was really putting in an effort to segregate a binary and to segregate people, right? So putting people in categories, putting people in what the feminine and what women should be, putting categories in what the masculine and what men should be. We could get into white supremacy, right? And othering people who were not white, right? But diet cultures has roots with colonialism. But let's talk about something a little bit more recent. In 1918, during World War I, Dr. Lulu Hunt Peters came up with a campaign, and it was a food rationing campaign for the women who were home and not at war. Like at the time, the men, it was mostly men, cis men out in war times, and they were off fighting a war, right? And a lot of women were left home. And so during World War I, Dr. Lulu Hunt Peters had a food rationing campaign that said that the women should only eat 1,200 calories a day, and even put morality behind it, saying that they should do it for their country, that this was patriotic, okay? Now, that was 1918, and it went through the first parts of World War I. Now, there is a direct correlation between that and sort of this 1920s waif culture, right? Because at 1,200 calories a day, a lot of those women did lose a lot of weight and were like waif-like, like thin, rail thin, okay? So this then became a standard for weight loss, this 1,200 calories a day. Here's the thing. A grown-ass person needs a lot more than 1,200 calories a day. Okay. A toddler needs 1,200 calories a day. A grown-ass person needs a lot more than that. But here's the thing. It's an idea that came about as part of a food rationing campaign. And the last I checked, at least in North America, we are not in food rationing. And we are still sold this idea of these like 1,200 to 1,400 calories a day, and it's pervasive on almost every diet app you can download onto your phone. That's like the window how you should be eating to lose weight and to stay thin. But it came from a food rationing campaign in 1918. So diet culture, I'm here to assert, is a limiting belief. Diet culture is constrictive. And when you're talking about health and total health, health is expansive. Health is what you're capable of doing. Health is aligning the goals in your life, especially midlife. And when we flip that record over onto our B side and we start paying attention to that purpose that I've been talking about on this podcast, this sense of what are we doing here with our life? What life goals and dreams do we have? And then start aligning our mental and physical health with those goals and dreams. That's expansive. That's abundant. That's that energy of anything's possible, where diet culture keeps you trapped in a loop. And it's a trapped loop where you stay oppressed, and you're oppressing yourself. The culture is oppressing you. And you think that in order to be happy or successful or accepted, that you need to be in a certain shape and size. So this is why I say we need to divorce diet culture. We need to divorce diet culture if we actually want to flip that record over onto our B side and start from the beginning and start looking for access to our total health as human beings and as a society. And we need to start healing this within ourselves. True health says that we are nourishing ourselves. There's a nourishment, not a deprivation. There's a nourishment that we're bathing in nourishment. And that is for our mental health and our physical health and our spiritual health as well. Diet culture takes us away from that. Diet culture robs us of our happiness. Now, I don't want to pour any more gasoline onto the fire of shame, because if you're listening to this and you do want to lose weight and you're struggling with this conversation, I don't want to add more shame to this. If you want to lose weight, your body, your choice, number one. Your body, your choice, number one, always. Number two, what I would do is I would encourage you to ask yourself why. So when I meet with a lot of my patients and clients, I would say most of them have a goal to lose weight because they want to be healthy. Okay? But we just distinguish that scale weight and health are not the same. Okay? So I ask why. It's important to know why behind anything in your life. And what most people, their first answer has something to do with, I want to fit into my clothes, or I just want to feel good. Okay? Fair. All right? And I say, why? It's like I'm like a incessant toddler asking why. I say, why? Why do you want to fit into your clothes? Why do you want to feel good? Right? And it usually has something to do with, I want to feel good and have confidence. I want to feel confident. I say, ooh, now we're getting somewhere. Why do you want to feel confident? And then it comes to some sense of freedom, some sense of joy, some sense of inner peace, and something about being able to be healthy enough to live the life they've always dreamed of. Now, I'm here to tell you, you can have health and be healthy and build strength and energy and confidence and inner peace and joy and love and live the life you've always wanted to live. But in order to do that, divorcing diet culture is your first step. No one is putting your weight on your tombstone. What would you want your legacy to be? Your scale weight or your life? So in midlife, I strongly encourage all genders that step one to your total health is to divorce diet culture. That health and diet culture are not the same. And that health can come from aligning what you value in your life, what you hope to achieve, what you hope to become, what you hope to do. It could be simple as you want to be able to live a long life and be able to be in the lives of your grandchildren, if that's something that's possible for you. And so what do you need to do to align your physical health with that goal? And start there. This is Dr. Amy Lindsey. Welcome to your B-side. And I really hope that step one, you'll divorce diet culture for access to your total health. This has been another episode of Welcome to Your B-Side, your midlife metamorphosis with Dr. Amy Lindsey. Be sure to follow along and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time.